which is basically the education, lacking the products.
Yeah.
Lacking, it encompasses what we call waste management, how to dispose those the used period products and all that. So it's a spectrum of all things that I've just mentioned.
Right,
Yes.
right. Joanne, what would you describe as the contributing factors to the rate of period poverty that we're seeing? And it's interesting because this is not just, you know, unique to Kenya alone. Of course, across Africa and very many Asian countries as well are still talking about period poverty today. So what could be leading to the spike in those numbers?
So majorly, obviously, like Rona said, when you talk about period poverty, we're looking at the inaccessibility to the product and also education. So contributing factors are generally within the two varieties. So the first one is financial constraints.
Right.
Poverty levels have made it difficult for parents or for people to access the menstrual product itself. Also things to do with stigmatization. Mainly because we don't talk about menstruation as openly.
Right.
So also culture affects period poverty because we find there are certain cultures where period is taken as something to be dirty. So you find also it's a contributing factor to period poverty.
Correct.
So there's a lot of factors that contribute to period poverty, but those are the major ones.
Right, right. Yeah. Let's just remind our viewers that we will be looking out for you. I'll be also highlighting some interesting stuff, resource materials that you can pick up. We've got a book that we will be highlighting at the second half of the show. Also, we do have, you know, some of the teasers that we put out on social media, but it's never too late, obviously, for you to send in your text message. In fact, we've just kicked off. So text in, contribute, also weigh in about what more we can do. We always like recommendations on this show, you know, solutions to issues. I think perhaps once upon a time, you do remember the horrific stories that were out there about women who will do anything, getting to the point of actually bartering, you know, themselves for pads. So you've read probably about the stories about sex for pads. And I would really like to engage the two of you, you know, on this. Let's talk about the sex trade business that emerged due to the product access challenges in this country. And, you know, let's take it from a woman first. Joanne, I mean, I'm sure with your on-ground work, looking at your fellow sisters, daughters, cousins, who have to get to the point whereby they're actually trading sex for pads. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's so sad, but this is the reality that happens. And the funny thing, it's not only in women, it's also in very small girls. Because you find a girl doesn't have access to menstrual products. They're unable to talk maybe to their mothers, teachers, or anyone. So they rely on men who end up buying for them the sanitary towels in exchange for sex. And that's why there are so many high pregnancy rates in Kenya due to this factor. Also, that's why you find even mothers end up engaging with sex with men in order to get money for sanitary towels, and this becomes a very big issue. Single mothers end up, you know, you find a mother has like 7 children, all different fathers. So it's very sad. It happens from a young age to even older people. There actually in Kisumu we found even there's sex for fish. Not sanitary towels for fish. So you find where the fishermen give the ladies money to buy sanitary towels, and then they these women get also fish where they sell to the market. So there's a huge gap there.
Rono, please weigh in on that.
I think that's a sad affair, and as Alal mentioned, there's what we call lack of parenting touch. As the girl grows, as they reach puberty, they need education on matters to do with their health, on matters to do with their bodies, the changes which they undergo. And you find that, yes, parents are so busy with going to work, going to jobs and all that, so they lose touch with their kids. Aside that, the kids themselves, they can resort to maybe their friends who, in a large extent, maybe they lure them to unhygienic ways of acquiring the pads. In some cases, we find that in informal settlements,
Right.
whereby the kids themselves or the parents themselves, they have no like consistent flow of income. So the girls themselves, when they reach the stage, that stage of maybe requiring the pads, they would resort to maybe easier ways of acquiring the pads. And when we have what we call a child-parent conflict, whereby maybe there is no that disharmony between the parent and the child. The girls themselves, let me specifically talk about the girls of a younger age, they will feel shy to open up, to talk, because there's that maybe that brushing of one another and all that. So they will feel shy to talk or to share what's maybe they need and all that. So you find that that's a contributing factor. And there's the price itself, the price of affording the commodity. Because you find that yes, it's every month to afford the commodity in those people or those families living in a low economic status. It will be hard. That's why they resort to it,
because it's honestly it's not affordable, and
it's not,
you know, you compare that, like, what are the options that they have? It's either we eat, you know, or we are going to start pay rent, or we are going to start buying sanitary towels. So it's literally not viable for them. But you know, another aspect, even Joanne, now just jumping to you, is the fact that, like the way Rono is saying, you know, we are kind of not aware of what our rights are, what we are entitled to. And this brings up the issue of the sexual reproductive health rights in this country. I mean, what would you like to let women know in terms of their rights? What are you entitled to as a Kenyan woman? First of all, it's a human rights issue, right? And because we're not aware of those, this is a great opportunity, because, I mean, this is a national platform. What should women know?
I believe menstruation, currently, we are in 2024. We should not be talking about period stigmatization, but unfortunately we are. But women have rights to access the menstrual products. They have a right to access it in an affordable, where it's affordable, but it's one of the things that it's overlooked. We have a right to over control of our bodies. Let's say, especially this happens in marriage. You find a woman giving birth to so many children because maybe the husband wants to and themselves they don't want to. But women are unaware. They actually have a right to say no. They have a right to go for family planning. They have a right over their own bodies. This is your sanction. You're supposed to take care of it. You have a right to eat. But unfortunately, it's not talked about as oftenly or even as openly as we'd want to. So it creates a lot of issues. That's why there are a lot of gender-based violences, sexual violences, FGM, because women are unaware of their own rights. And even if some women are aware, they are even scared to maybe air it out and say, you know, I have a right to this, I am supposed to get this. So it creates a very huge gap, and it brings a lot of issues. You know, where we work at KenyaWorks, we do most of the trainings on human rights advocacy, on gender-based violence, and all these factors. Sometimes when you talk about these rights to women, they're like shocked. They're like, oh, you mean? I didn't know. I'm entitled to this. I didn't know there's maybe rape in marriage. I didn't know I'm entitled as a woman. I'm supposed to be getting this. Even some forms of gender-based violence, they don't even know. You know, I didn't know I'm actually being violated, and they don't even know. So if they don't know they're being violated, then how will they know that this is a right I'm supposed to be? This is something that is fundamental in my life, you see, and that's why there's a huge maybe disharmony in our society. Correct. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. Maybe to add on that, it's great to know that, or rather it's imperative to know that the period poverty undercuts what's called fundamental
human rights, specifically for girls. Because when you talk about the same, lacking the same, you are talking about infringement in matters to do with the rights to health, rights to education, rights to information, and all that. So it's undercuts different spectrum of human rights, specifically for women and girls.
Right.
Yeah.
Ronald, there's the sanitary pads bill. You know, we've been seeing, you know, snippets of that here and there because, like you said, I mean, is it really ever that major of an issue on the floor of the House? But what are some of the milestones that you'd like to highlight about this particular bill?
I think milestone, the first milestone is exactly what you have talked about, sanitary health bill. We have it now. That's a milestone.
Right.
Because this is a century whereby this, the bills itself, they should already be implemented in different jurisdictions or places. So milestone is we have the bill. The other thing is what the bill addresses. The bill addresses provision of quality. Now, when you talk about quality, I think that's a key thing because you know, girls resort to unhygienic products. So when you talk about the bill itself highlighting what's called the quality, it's touching on provision of the hygienic products of managing the menstruation.
Right.
Now, yeah, the bill provision of the sanitary towels, as the bill stipulates, in the public places. And specifically, what I like about the bill is provision of the same in the correctional facilities.
Oh, okay.
Because the girls there, or the women there, they say in most cases, menstruation, they know no bounds. They know no boundaries. Whether you are in a slum, whether you are in a prison, whether you are in any places, they will have to come.
Right.
Na awapigange simu, anakuja. So the bill highlighting provision of the same in the correctional facilities, I think that's a milestone.
It is.
Yes.
It is fantastic. You feel like there's something there that you think also stood out to you?
Yes, like Rona said, we are happy that it's there.
Okay.
It's one of the things that people, for example, for us in our sector, we've been wishing or aiming towards. So the fact that it's there, it's a good thing.
Right.
But we also think there could be things that should be added into it, and there could be things that should be maybe adjusted into it. Because in as much as the bill is there, but we should also look at the implementation
aspect of it, because that's where you know, things sound good on paper, like in equal ground, literally. You
know, most bills have only as a blueprint, but then again, the girls and the women should be enjoying the policies in that bill. They should be enjoying the rights in that bill.
Correct.
But you find in certain areas there are still girls not accessing, because normally we talk about in the office, we talk about, you know, how there are maybe condom dispensers. There should be sanitary towel dispensers, because it doesn't pick a point. You know, in sex you can actually decide, I'll have it at this time. This one,
there's no for deciding.
This one, there's no you deciding. It comes
like there's no appointment for your period.
Exactly,
there you go.
It comes.
Right.
So imagine if there are, you know, like sanitary towel dispensers in washrooms.
Absolutely. That's a game changer. Exactly. Yeah.
So we won't be having such issues. You know, most girls are scared to ask even another girl or even a teacher or even a mother, because we were not brought up to talk about these things. Right. So you find your girl is in their period and they don't have this product, they don't have anyone to talk to. Now where do they get the product from? Right. So I think there are gaps that also needs to be addressed, and to fill maybe these slots and to be able to capture everyone, and let's just say implementation.
Rona, what is it? Because I can see you want to say something.
She has talked about an imperative thing called implementation, because we can be having bills, we can be having maybe even the policies, but implementation part of it is mostly a challenge, of course, in our areas. Right. Now, concerning the bill, because she has touched about the misses of the bill. Now, there's what we call sustainability aspect. The bill addresses the sustainability aspect.
Yeah, how are we going to make this long term?
Yes.
What's the longevity of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we can be having allocation and all that, but how can we make this thing to be sustainable?
Correct.
In such a way that, yes, we are having that maybe that target number, but are we reaching all the girls or all the women in the country? And how about the population? What's the population of these girls?
All right.
Now, in the case of maybe provision of the sanitary towels to public institutions and all that, you find that the provision of the same normally targets schools, of which, now how about during holidays? Because,
yeah, what next?
Yes, because the girls do come to breaks during holidays, and yeah, they experience their days. So how are we going to address that? Because during holidays is when majority of them are vulnerable to prayers. I can say prayers.
Yeah,
the theme of praying for yeah. They normally say in a jungle, the weak normally get attacked. So when you have someone who is in need,
right,
they can easily maneuver their ways and get whatever they want.
Right,
yes.
right. Very good point there. I think I'm enjoying this conversation so far. I hope you are too. We are going to take a short commercial break, and of course when we get back, there's definitely more from Joanne as well as Rono on addressing period poverty. There's also some exciting news coming up this week. It's a very busy week for people in their sector, and we'll be telling you why you also need to plug in. Also, in terms of resource material, books that you can pick up, we've got a couple of recommendations, or at least our recommendation that we'd like to give to you. We'll also be sampling some feedback in regards to today's discussion. If you haven't sent in a text message, kwanza watu wenu, I hope they are watching, watu wa Kenya works, muko wapi? We want to see your text messages through our WhatsApp number, and of course when we get back, we'll be taking a look at those. Stick with K24 for more.
When it's a Saturday, there's only one entertainment show in East and Central Africa. Arena 254. Join Aisha Wanjiku and Tony Mwirigi for all the artistic interviews fused with amazing entertainment.